Now, on Wednesday, the Supreme Court actually upheld a state campaign finance law. Oh, wow, it's amazing. Now, what is this law? This law would ban judicial candidates from getting political contributions for state elections. Great. Now, this case is Williams-Yulee versus the Florida Bar. And, as I said, this is a law banning judicial candidates from getting contributions. Now, that's not really the focus of this conversation, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of context. In his decision, Roberts wrote that it is vital that judges not be responsive to those who put them in office, but serve as neutral decision makers. Now, you and I, Ron, we both kind of agree with that sentiment.
Yes.
I think it's important that, judges be neutral and basically uphold the law, the Constitution, all that good stuff, and not be beholden to donors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not sensing much argument on this so far.
Nope, totally on board with you, Jeff.
But where I think we might have an issue is the other part of his decision that he writes. Now, he wrote, politicians are expected to be appropriately responsive to the preferences of their supporters. Indeed, such responsiveness is the key to the very concept of self-governance through elected officials. Now, that right there might sound benign to some people, but to us, we take a look at these issues a little bit, through a finer lens, and we see a problem. Supporters. They should be appropriately responsive to the preferences of their supporters. Now, have we shown that their supporters, especially in decisions like Citizens United and McCutcheon, the supporters actually doesn't mean the people. It means donors.
Right. Let me offer a translation for anybody that heard that quote you just read and was kind of like, wait a second. Here's a simple translation here. When it comes to politics, this guy's okay with money, 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 money. And there you have it.
That's
basic translation. He should have just said that. He should have just been like, money, 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 and then just walked away. Because that's basically, he's subscribing to the idea that money is speech.
Mm-hmm.
With that, and he said it in a very subtle and flowery way, but basically he just said, when it comes to your politicians, money is speech, deal with it, I don't care. When it comes to judges, we don't want them to have a conflict of interest, but for whatever reason, when it comes to politicians, we don't have a problem.
Oh, but you see, according to the Roberts Court, money influencing politicians doesn't even have the appearance of corruption.
Mm-hmm.
At all. Going back to, what was it, Alito or Thomas saying that? Writing in one of their majority opinions? I believe it was in Citizens United? That's That's mental. That's crazy. Doesn't even have the appearance of corruption. Much less corruption.
Well, and I think what we're both fishing for here, and what we both want to have an answer to, and I don't think the answer's here, at least right now, not right now. How do they justify having this distinction? Why is it okay for politicians to have this conflict of interest, but not judges? In our, the way we see it, it's not okay for either party.
Right.
But why is there this different treatment towards politicians? Other than the most obvious answers, we're chasing the money trail. But, there has not been any justification of this on their end, or any explanation as to why it's okay for one camp but not the other, when it should be not okay for either.
Right. And that is the issue. I mean, when it comes to judges, there are some elections of judges, but when it comes to Supreme Court justices are appointed, and they're appointed by the people who win the elections. How do you win elections these days? Well, when it comes to the Senate, 94% of all elections go to the person who has more money. Mm-hmm. Right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it does take, a president just can't appoint a justice on his own, correct? Does it also take a vote in the Senate or in the Congress itself to confirm a justice?
Well, there's a process, but the president can appoint, and then it's, I think it's voted on and stuff like that.
And so, in order to get confirmation, you're going to have elected, elected officials. Well, how are these people elected in the first place? Well, if money helps you to win the majority of congressional races, right? The person with more money wins. They're going to be connected to that money. They're going to be connected to the people who give that money, and they're going to elect people who are, or appoint people, or confirm people who are a lot more sympathetic to those who give that money. Basically, it's what it comes down to. Follow the money, as you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a weird, cause yeah, I mean, you're kind of blurring the lines, which will inevitably be blurred, but it's like, yes, we're making this distinction for some entities, some, cases where the judges run, cases where, this and that, whether they're appointed or not, but we're not making this distinction in politics. And I think it's like, there's this kind of almighty entity that we can't touch the idea of money in politics. And this is why what we're talking about now really connects with what we were talking about with Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who is confronting money in politics head on. And that's kind of still a big no-no. That's like, oh, no. So when this guy confronts it head on, or anyone else that confronts it head on, naturally they get marginalized in the press and so forth. This is just another example of that. This is just another cyclical effect of all that.
But why would they be marginalized in the press, Ron? Who controls the press?
I would say the corporate elite, Jeff. That's my final answer. I would say they're all buddies.
So large.
Call me a radical.
So large multinational corporations and massive news corporations who tend to benefit from ad spending raised by political campaigns that are funded by the same large multinational corporations. Are you saying that's all related somehow? And
I am. I know. I'm going out on alerts, but we've said it on this show before, and we got to keep saying it until it's not true anymore. How can you expect the media to hold the powers that be accountable when they are part of the powers that be themselves?